we're talking about drafting and developing as though winning a championship in one individual year is not the goal. Rather, it is just being really good for a long period of time, which seems to be what they've done in Green Bay. They've had back-to-back first-ballot Hall of Fame quarterbacks for the last 30 years, and in that time, they've won 2 championships. I think that's an underachievement.
Yeah, I think that's a fair criticism over the last decade or so of Packers football, but I don't think that that necessarily speaks to the moment right now. They decided that last year their team was not good enough to win the Super Bowl, and they decided that they were not 1 or 2 pieces away. So they started building for the future, and it seems like they are sticking to that plan. It would be somewhat silly, I think, right now to jump off of that plan and go trade all your assets if you're trying to build to having a great team in the future, and trade all your assets to make a run right now when you don't believe that your team is complete and you don't think that Aaron Rodgers is necessarily good enough to put this team on his back. And if he is, he'll do that. And trading for another receiver isn't going to change that necessarily. And I would love to sign some sort of player that comes on and takes this defense from bottom of the league to middle of the league. But that player ain't out there. Nobody's trading Aaron Donald. That's just not a thing that's going to happen.
Wait a minute. First of all, why is Graziano nodding like crazy at all of this?
I think they do believe they're good enough, and that's the point, right? That if you could have told the Packers front office yesterday, adding player X, let's say Will Fuller or somebody on defense, would guarantee you that you go from being a Super Bowl contender to a Super Bowl champion, they probably would have done it. But to your point, Dominique, that player's not out there, and they recognize that. So it's about, we have a good team. We're 19-6 over the last couple of years. We believe we have as good a chance as anybody with what we have. So going outside of our plan to do something different isn't necessarily where we want to be as an organization. So I think it's a little bit different from what Dominique is saying, in that they do believe they have a good enough team and that they didn't need to give up assets in order to make small improvements.
I mean, that's where we disagree. Is if they felt like they were close enough to win a championship, that's where I think drafting a running back and a quarterback early in the draft last year, that seems like a team that does not believe that they are a step away, or they just believe that Love is just that special Mahomes level talent that you can't pass up. To me, that suggests to me that they were not ready to make this leap.
It's a team that didn't believe that step was available to them in the draft.
Right.
They didn't have a player that go, oh, if we draft this guy, we can win next year's Super Bowl. That equation didn't add up for them.
Go ahead, D-Wood.
Well, listen, who is running away with the NFC? There's not a team running away with the NFC. I mean, we can all talk about the Seattle Seahawks look good. They stink on defense. You know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, yeah, we like what they do on defense, but they're still trying to find their way offensively. There's not one team in the NFC right now that's running away with this. So if you're the Green Bay Packers, you're sitting back saying, looking at the landscape, yeah, we got a shot. We got a shot at this. It's not like we're some scrubs. We're 5-2.
But you know what the big teams in the NFC did? Tampa, they added a piece. Seattle, they added a piece. These teams all went out and made moves, and the Green Bay Packers did nothing. Pollock, go ahead.
Well, the Vikings dang sure aren't on that list, are they? And they just curb stomped you. So, I mean, I don't think this is also a team that I'm looking at that I'm going, man, yeah, they're going to be one of those. Offensively, yeah, they got some nice pieces, but I'm going to stop Devontae Adams, and Aaron Rodgers isn't going to continue to play out of his mind like he did to start the season the rest of the year. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying, Woody, but the Vikings aren't on that list, and it was a bloodbath. I mean, it was just unbelievable, just pounding it right at you over and over again. That's not a team. And the last time we saw the Packers last year, it was in the NFC Championship game, and it looked very similar to that. It was just straight down your throat. You couldn't stop it. So I think there's a lot of teams that can do that to the Packers.
That's exactly right. But the point is,
but it was the NFC Championship game.
That's the point.
And they were in the game.
I feel like you're saying the same thing I am, but you're acting like I'm disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is that they were this close. There were 4 teams left that could win the championship last year. So why are you planning for a future after Aaron Rodgers when you're that close to winning a championship with him? No one is ever going to convince me that I don't have this one right. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.